What's up, everybody? My name is Info 5000. So today we're going to talk about Russell Brand. Used to be a comedian slash actor. He's on YouTube, got 6.62 million followers. Has been suspended, demonetized, deplatformed, or whatever you want to call it, off of YouTube in particular is what I'm wondering about. Because of some so-called sexual allegation from 20-some years ago. I'm noticing, especially on these social medias, they lean really, really, really left. And once you get to speaking the truth as you know it, they wait till you get to a certain point. Then they just take all your money away. Russell Brand was making, just off YouTube, just YouTube, one YouTube channel that I know of, between $5,700 a month up to $92,000 a month, just off YouTube. I think it's so cruel that they wait till you get to a certain point and then they just take it all away. So we're gonna watch this from The Hill.
Russell Brand from making money off its platform in the wake of the rape and sexual assault allegations he's facing, according to NBC News. YouTube said in a statement today it had, quote, suspended monetization on Brand's channel for violating its creator policy. If a creator's off-platform behavior harms our users, employees, or ecosystem, we take action to protect the community, according to YouTube.
BBC has also pulled some of Brand's shows from streaming services. BBC said there's limited content featuring Russell Brand on iPlayer and Sound. We reviewed that content and made a considered decision to remove some of it, having assessed that it now falls below public expectations. Russell has not appeared to publicly respond to the YouTube or BBC news, but earlier this week he denied the allegations against him and said his relationships have been consensual, as we discussed yesterday
sure,
on
and
the show.
I urge everyone to watch that video we did yesterday. I find this extremely disturbing, and with the caveat that, of course, YouTube is a private company. They are not bound to give you free speech rights or due process rights. They're not bound by the First Amendment. They can literally do whatever they want. We don't have to like it. We can criticize it, and I think this is well worth criticizing. This is not him being punished even for some speech, some content he's produced on the platform, which is a problem we've had, with YouTube in the past. The show has had problems with that in the past. This is him being punished for, and I'm not trying to detract from the things people are saying about him, but at this point, these are anonymous accusations that have not been substantiated through any kind of formal legal process. The idea that you would be canceled in a significant financial revenue sort of way. I know his main thing is Rumble, but he also posts.
Here's the thing about it. Of course, I think it sucks, but it is their company. It is, YouTube is Google / Alphabet's company. It sucks eggs, but you should be given some type of leeway, which we don't even know if he was given some type of leeway, like as far as, well, you've done this violates this policy. Correct this, you've done this. Which YouTube has some form of that, but I've also heard of some time that YouTube just deplatforms people. And they claim they don't know why.
On YouTube for anonymous accusations against you reflecting behavior from decades ago. I think that's pretty wild. And this feels like an escalation in the canceling wars.
It does feel like an escalation. We talked about this a little bit around the unbanking of Kanye West and trying to disaggregate the substantive feelings about Kanye West's statements and the anti-Semitism, which are not really debatable, and whether or not we want the response from the public to be that you no longer can have a bank, that you can no longer have a YouTube page, that you can no longer have a house. I mean, where does the line stop in terms of what your basic rights and privileges are as a citizen in the world, especially when we're talking outside of a judicial context where there's even some proof, even some vetting of the underlying claim, which there very well may be. And as I said yesterday, if there is criminal activity here being alleged, it absolutely should be pursued so we can at the very least have some certainty about this. But this honestly feels like exactly the kind of argument people like Russell Brand and Glenn Greenwald have been making in defense of platforms like Rumble for a long time. They've been waving the flag that when we look at what happened with the Canadian truckers and all these other kind of contexts, that the kind of utility style companies that we rely on for lights and internet and banking are increasingly being weaponized when the people who are using them don't share opinions that are broadly popular. And the traditional means of punishment and social sanction, whether it's something like the criminal justice system or something like community ties in the church, are now being substituted by companies and institutions and utilities that do seem to provide more foundational services that maybe people should have more of a right to access in the longer term.
Yeah, and also for the action to be what they're doing, to have nothing to do with the behavior on the platform itself.
Right.
In my opinion, opinions that are not broadly popular are the ones that should be explored and listened to more. Here's my thinking. When you disagree with someone and you're coming from a good faith position, there's a lot of progress to be gained behind that. But you know what happens? What happens is that actually unites people, and there is a force out there that does not want people to be united. I can disagree with you and things of that nature, but I think at the end of the day, we could still come together on whatever we disagree with. And we can be stronger, because I think disagreements and differences, I'll say it as differences are very, very valuable, because, and I like to put it in this context, I just don't want you to tell me what I want to hear, because I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I don't think that's productive whatsoever. Tell me what you think. Start there. Don't worry about my feelings.
Like a train is a public utility, but if you start harassing other customers or something, you're not paying for your ticket, you're going to get thrown off. There's no absolute right to be on it, even though it's a public utility. And I understand the social media companies are obviously going to have moderation policies with respect to speech, where we argue where the line should be drawn and when they've crafted a policy that's not good or when they've applied it to someone falsely. But at the end of the day, they're speech platforms. They're doing advertising money. That's their revenue model. They're going to have policies with regards to what you can say. But to have a policy based on who you are, based on totally off-platform behavior, again, that is just alleged, that is wild.
And it's also in the past. Is there a statute of limitations on this? If Russell Brand were to have been charged with rape or sexual assault, went to jail, served time, and got out, would YouTube still be able to say, because of your 2012 crime, you're no longer able to use this app? Does it reset if you serve jail time? Is there any other kind of remediation that would satisfy whatever judgments are being made on this app? And also I'm thinking, who else has this been done to? Does Andrew Tate still have the right to have a YouTube page?
Right.
If Donald Trump wants to have a YouTube page, is he allowed? If George Bush or Barack Obama or former presidents, who many of our viewers believe committed war crimes, is that the kind of behavior that YouTube is going to?
I don't know why they're dragging their feet on considering any social media as a utility. Because if it was considered a utility, all the rules and the governance of it would be totally different. Because if it was considered a utility, it would be considered a necessity, and then all of this stuff would change. It would. A utility is lights. Utility is water. And let's not kid ourselves. The way that things are on social media is today, it's a utility. Some people live. They make a living off social media. So that's for one of the reasons why it can be considered a utility. One of the other reasons is a place like X or Twitter. It's where a lot of business is conducted. Facebook, business is conducted. It affects a lot of people's lives. And I don't know why we're not talking more about these things because social media affects people's lives, especially monetarily. And in America, cash is what it's about. Money is what it's about. Let's stop playing.
And the taking down of people like Alex Jones and Andrew Tate got taken down on some platforms. It was based on at least the theories, the content they're posting on the site, concerns about defamation and liability risk of the things they're saying, which are all legit, which is much more legitimate than this. Again, this is just for who he is, for something totally off platform. It doesn't seem very progressive either. You're saying what if he was prosecuted? What if he went to jail? A lot of progressives, a lot of people on the left, a lot of liberals would argue maybe not in the sexual misconduct context. That seems to be the place where some of the softer kind of criminal justice attitudes go out the door for progressives. But it's weird to advocate against that he shouldn't be in prison forever, but he should not be able to be on YouTube.
I'm just really trying to figure out what kind of standard you can set. Are felons or ex-felons not allowed to have YouTube pages? Because
but progressives want to give them the right to vote, which I don't oppose, by the way. I'm fine with giving them the right to vote, but they should be able to vote, but they shouldn't be able to make videos on YouTube? This makes no sense.
Is Jared Kushner's father not allowed to start a YouTube page?
I don't get it. I don't get it.
This is unpoliceable. It's unmanageable. It's impossible to create a consistent standard if the standard is if we think you're a bad person. And maybe I agree that he's I don't know, right? But if we think you're a bad person, and if
what they done was created a lot of gray area. And when you have a lot of gray area, that means you can control objectively or subjectively. You can even say, just create a gray area. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. So that's going to be it for this video. My name is Mr. Info 5000. Like, comment, subscribe. Mostly important, share.